Hello, welcome to Sportswire channel. This is a Leeds versus Chelsea preview that is going to be right now. And we've got Almighty Blues well on the background. He is going to be with us the entire stream. That's a friend of his well. We've done a lot of streams together. Hello, how are you doing, Ankit?
I'm doing great. How about you? As in, I know it's been a while that it's been pending, but yeah, it's great to be on Sportswire. I know that you rebranded the channel as well, like we did as well. Yes, but of course, always happy to chat with Vijay. As in, he knows his stuff for sure. And yeah, as in, not a great time. I would say, as a Chelsea fan, I must say things change very quickly in football, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, then definitely coming along because yeah, the season is going very busy, and yeah, I see a lot of content in your channel, and of course on my channel as well. We're trying to cover as much as possible, and I think the latest is the big rivalry that I'm looking forward to chat with you about.
Definitely. Leeds versus Chelsea. There's a lot to talk about. Of course, the one of the teams that have come from the second division and promoted to the first division. Just give me a second. I've got my Mac about to switch off. Just give me a second.
Sure thing. So, anyone watching, yes, I hope you have already pressed that like button as well as subscribed. Obviously, Vijay has been working hard, and definitely every like, view, and subscription counts.
Definitely. Thanks for that, Ankit. And yeah, it's brighter again. My MacBook is brighter again. Good to know. All right. Now let's get started with, first of all, yeah, of course, this is how we start in our channel, right? Usually it's about, oh, there is some disturbance in the audio. Not able to hear me
Yeah,
clearly.
I think to me there's a slight disturbance, but yeah, I think I can hear you then. As in, should not be an issue, but yeah, then there was a slight disturbance. Maybe we can just continue for the right timing.
Yeah, I think usually when it starts, right, in StreamYard, it seems to be giving me a bit of trouble. And then once it goes, like the first 2 minutes is done, it starts, being good. So I'm not sure if it is the issue with the mic or if it is with the StreamYard, but it seems to be doing that for me for quite some time. Present says, I just hope we win by end of January. We should not be more than 2-3 points off the title. Please agree to it. But let's quickly get started with what we have for the agenda. Of course, we're going to be covering Almighty Blues first of all in detail, and then probably about Chelsea in detail, and then we'll get into talking about this particular game, Chelsea versus Leeds, of course, at the Stamford Bridge. And probably this is the first time we're bringing in live coverage for the channel as well from Stamford Bridge, straight from Stamford Bridge. We've got Nick Blue, who's probably going to give us some pictures and videos there from Stamford Bridge live. So hopefully that is going to be an addition to whatever we've been bringing in terms of the coverage. Of course, our coverage is something which is different. We commentate on the game. We do not do a watch along. It's more of a commentary on the game. So that's the difference that you get between the other channels and Sportswire, of course. But moving forward, the first question, or just basic introduction for Almighty Blues FC. First of all, let me just tell you, I knew this person from when I started the channel, of course, from the Mrs. channel, the other side of the coin. That's where we got introduced. He's also from India, doing great work from Bangalore, of course, and I'm from Hyderabad right now in Coimbatore. But then um, we've become a very good friends over the past few months, if I have to say, over YouTube, and the community is building, of course, and the Indian fan base and the Indian. He's always concerned about the Indian community being together and supporting each other. So that's something that I love about Ankit. So I'm going to give the floor to Ankit, of course, to introduce himself and about the channel that he's running currently. Go on, Ankit.
Yeah,
The floor is
absolutely. Like
yours.
again, like and then again, thanks a lot for having me again. But yes, and yes, we will get to Prasanna. Prasanna, big up to you. But yes, like you all know, as an Almighty Blues FC definitely is a fan channel for everyone to see. Yes, we are called Almighty Blues FC, so that is obvious as you can see in the backdrop. Primarily, obviously, is going to have Chelsea content, but we cover a lot of other clubs content as well, especially like we are definitely having as in myself as well as the panel a lot of fans from the EPL and Champions League in particular. So I would say it's for all EPL and UCL fans. We cover a lot of previews, reviews for sure, but not only that, we do have news series as well as a special trivia series called Who Am I, which I'm pretty sure that you may not have seen on any channel. That is something that we do once in a while as well. Apart from that, obviously, there is a cricket channel which we have recently separated, and we have called it Almighty Blues Cricket. But definitely, right now, it's only football for Almighty Blues FC. So yes, that's about it.
All right. Um, the next question that I usually ask anyone who comes onto the panel is that's probably something that I'm going to ask you as well. Why Chelsea and why why would you want to support Chelsea? What is the thought process behind it? Like when did you start getting interest towards Chelsea? A bit of history
Yeah,
there.
and then again, I might be promoting a little bit too much, but the fact is, like, so I have a series, a newish series on my channel called Know Your Creator series, and that the idea of that series was to introduce fans like you and me or anyone, just to kind of get to know why they basically became a fan, what kind of triggered that level of passion in them, and if not Chelsea, what else as well? Because at the end of the day, we are all football fans and we are all sports lovers as well, like I think your channel is called as well, right? And that's something that I believe in. Yes. So for people who want to know exact details, of course, can go to Almighty Blues FC, check out the Know Your Creator series. I started that as episode one, featuring myself because that was the easiest find. But yeah, and the idea was initially it was more like you said, like we come from India. A lot of us are first exposed to the World Cups because I think again I'm a '90s kid and '90s, it wasn't so popular in terms of club football in India at least at that time. Yes, I did travel internationally later on for a good few years, but I think before that it was all in Bangalore. So here it was a World Cup, and once the World Cup came to Asia, that was in 2002. Uh, I started following a little bit more because then obviously the telecast was much more in terms of weekly, EPL matches, etc. A lot more sponsorship, etc. So we were exposed a little bit more. Before that, yes, I used to follow, of course, the Zolas of the likes, the Gullit of the likes is something that I kind of knew that they are come to Chelsea, and Chelsea is kind of one of the underdogs team which is kind of coming up the ranks because 1990s it was all Manchester United, and towards the end of 1990s it was probably Arsenal, right? So me, just like a sports lover, I kind of like the underdog story, and it was definitely Chelsea coming up the ranks, winning those cups in late 1990s, and of course, when 2002, when I actually became like a proper fanatic from just a follower, watched us a lot more. 2003-4, it was obviously that very important kind of season where we actually got into Europe after a good while, right? And then it was basically the era which started with obviously Mourinho coming in, and my favorite player Robin signing, and he kind of made me fall in love with the club. So yes, that is about how I went about going for Chelsea. Eventually, as in started as underdogs, then became the dominant force, and obviously once you are a Chelsea fan, you will stay a Chelsea fan lifelong, right? And I hope you agree as well.
Yeah, agreed. That I agree to, of course. All right. Prasan, can you confirm on the chat if my audio is loud and clear? Is there any kind of hiccup here and there? If so, just let me know. All right. Having said that, we move forward. Okay, so probably we talked about why Chelsea, why Almighty Blues FC, and a good history as well there. So yeah, that's Almighty Blues FC for you guys. Go check him out as well, and we will move on. We will move on to the next question, of course. Um, okay, what do you think about Chelsea's this year's performance? Let's get to this year, right? Before we talk about anything else in specific. This year, how do you think Chelsea has performed? Of course, we had very good transfers in the summer, and do you think Chelsea's performed up to the expectation until now?
Well, as in you can say that probably not, because again, it's more the recent results which have got us to third place in the EPL and Champions League, not finishing top of the group. Honestly, both are probably just below expectations, and why those expectations came about is because we did very well. We probably, I think, achieved more than what people expected, right? That was obviously the Champions League win. Not only that, then Tuchel, the way he's managed the hardly any goals that we've conceded in the last few months. So those are basically reasons as to why eventually, as in that we are speaking now, as in it's our bad luck that right now Chelsea are at third position in the EPL and second in the Champions League group. I think Champions League is probably, for me, if I'm being very honest about it, is more of a disappointment. I know a lot of people, among Chelsea YouTubers and even otherwise, have told it doesn't matter first or second. No, we are champions of Europe. I think that should have been shown on the pitch. It's not. It's not been shown right in the last say couple of months in the Champions League, except for the Juventus game. We didn't look like champions. Like I'm being brutally honest here. We didn't look like champions of Europe. We should have performed much better, irrespective of whatever kind of injuries we had. Whether we traveled to Russia compared to other clubs who probably traveled closer, etc. No, we should have done much better. But it would be incorrect of me saying that hey, I'm really not happy with Chelsea. Of course, I'm like obviously in love with Chelsea, and this year I think it has been a great year overall because even if we had kind of finished the year at say fourth position in the EPL, which is not something that I hope because still the year is remaining, and of course I would not say the Champions League could have been worse. It could have been. It is what it is, right? But even then, I would have said that it's a great year because winning the Champions League in itself, I think makes it a fantastic year, especially after the circumstances we were under Lampard. So those are things that only as in things can look up and not down from there. And again, having been a Chelsea fan again, like I said, from last 20 years almost now, it's so common that we've been eliminated in the semis, quarters of the Champions League. So that run in itself was phenomenal, and that's something that will stay forever.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Of course, the last few matches where we've had a lot of injury concerns is something that is disappointing for every Chelsea fan. But the way that we started this particular year, that is something again, which is something every Chelsea fan will be proud of. One of the most difficult fixtures for the top six teams in the Premier League this season, but we managed to stay on top after that, after having that run of fixtures. But the next question that I wanted to ask is something towards this as well, right? Which is something more relevant to this. Do you think a lot of international breaks in between actually hurt the way that Chelsea was playing this particular year? Because I think there was so many international break that I can even count off. And I know most of the years this would be the case, but this year, given all the travel restrictions and everything, I think that put in a lot of pressure for the players mentally as well. And do you think that could have been an aspect in terms of how we are performing right now on the pitch, or the injuries that Chelsea has succumbed to could have? I mean, could the international breaks be a part of all this reason
Yeah,
for
you
all
know
this?
what? You make a great point actually. Like, probably I did not think of it to be very honest, but now that you're saying it, it makes sense. I know, as in again, neutrals who might, watch this stream may kind of say that, okay, it may be an excuse. We are champions of Europe. We should be performing. We have one of the biggest and the best squads in England, right? As in probably next to Man City's, I would say. But also a fact being that we as a club have the highest number of internationals, so even a Man City didn't have as much as we had, right? So it is but obvious that we will possibly be affected more compared to others because of the fact that there have been so many internationals, and not only that, we do have South Americans, we have Africans, we have North Americans. A lot of other clubs have just Europeans. So the travel distance also is kind of coming into picture here, and at the same time the age factor, right? As in, a lot of them are very young, so they may not have as much experience. Say maybe a Thiago Silva, I'll take him as an example, right? Because he's the perfect professional, as they call, right? So he maybe like is better equipped because he's used to it doing that for so many years compared to young international, right? As in, that is something that we cannot control, and maybe in time it'll be good for us because they'll get more exposure more early compared to other clubs. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in a way, right?
Hmm. Again, one thing that I've been looking at when it comes to Chelsea Football Club is that the kind of pressure that the players are in right now, including the managers, of course, because when it comes to Chelsea, the managers' run is not something that you would expect. It's not like Manchester United or Arsenal, where people keep giving chances, or the board keep giving chances to the managers, even if they're not unsuccessful over a period of time. Chelsea is not afraid to sack their managers. That kind of puts a constant pressure for anyone who is managing Chelsea. Having said that, of course, the same impact will be on the players as well. But one thing that I wanted to check with you, or I'll probably ask you, is why is there so much of pressure? I understand one of those pressure could be because we are the champions of Europe, and then we just have to go ahead and win the Premier League in the next years to prove that we are on the top of our game and all that. But could that only be the contribution towards this particular pressure that Chelsea right now is having? Because what I think is Chelsea's on top of their game right now, and the way that they're performing is also something where we have a lot of young players. Most of our players haven't hit their prime. Let's take Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, everyone at 21, 22 years old. Chalobah on the back, Reece James. Most of our players haven't hit their prime. So, what I think about it is if we don't make it this particular season, it's not all gone. We've got a couple more years to do it. Whereas I wouldn't say the same thing about a Manchester City right now or a Liverpool right now. They are right now in their prime. Salah or Mane, I'm not even sure if they're going to be performing at the same level in the next couple of years. But that's not the case with Chelsea. So, do you think there is a bit of unnecessary pressure that is being put on Chelsea Football Club? If we just give our boys some time, are we going to get something out of them instead of having that constant pressure on them? That's my question to you.
Yeah, no, interesting question for sure, right, Adan Vijay? Because yeah, you have a point. Adan. There's no two ways about it than that the amount of pressure that a Chelsea manager or a Chelsea player faces, like maybe you can say it's probably at par with Manchester United. Like again, Manchester United. Let's be honest. It is the biggest club in the world. Like let's be honest, it is the biggest club in the world, right? As in again, we're talking a lot of factors into consideration. Obviously, I don't want for one bit for Manchester United to be successful. I'll be honest there as well. But that is level of pressure. Now, compare the squads, right? As you mentioned, we have a lot of people, say in Chelsea Football Club who are young, not only among players, even among the staff and people, kind of are kind of learning, while on the job. And we had that even Lampard's reign, that Jody Morris and the kind. So for me, on the other hand, like think about the squad. Like yes, up front, yes, a lot of attackers are there, but when it comes to defense, I think the key is having experienced defenders. I know a lot of Chelsea, fans, maybe me included at times, want a Delict, want a Kunde. Like those are names that we have been linked for months together, right? But honestly speaking, as in we always look for the future. But the fact is, it's better to think now because I think Abramovich thinks like that. Of course, the Chelsea business has been to look for the future as well, but not at the cost of forgetting the current. Right? The current is probably going to take more prominence, and we are here to win. Simply put, and that is the Chelsea DNA. We cannot get away from it. So, if you see the defenders, what really is required? They say that defenders win you championships, whereas attackers win you matches. As in, I'm sure you heard of that, right? And that's the point. A Thiago Silva, a Rudiger, for instance, like Aspilicueta, for instance. So these are people who kind of won a lot in their careers, and these are people that we actually need to be kept at the club. And again, if we are talking about 2 years down the line, like you are saying, there is no guarantee that they will be performing at the level they are doing today. Again, even if we sign like a Kunde or Delict, they may not be as experienced as them even in 2 years, down the line. So the cycle is always on. If our defense is very experienced, our attackers are inexperienced, and later on maybe it may be the other way around. So for me, it's about now because, and that is what we have kind of built over a period of time. It's not like we've just kind of pumped in money like say Newcastle have done today. Even Newcastle, they would expect success maybe a few years down the line. So if we were say a Newcastle or a Man City from 2010, I would have bought your point, but not now because we have already built over a period of time. So that legacy will have to be maintained. We cannot just get rid of that, and we are here to win. And that pressure will always be on, whether we like it or not. I know it's unfair on Hudson Odoi or the likes, but it is what it is.
Makes sense. Makes sense. While we are on the young players, my next question is also something relevant to that. I just wanted to check with you about this common conception that we have in the Chelsea foot community, as well as the Premier League community right now. Cobham is the best academy in the world. Would you agree to that statement, or if you agree to that statement, how would you support it?
Come on, I don't think there should be a doubt even. Like, honestly, it is the best. Like, again, even neutrals, pundits, everyone kind of, believe in that. I know Man City, like, I have to kind of, give them kudos as well. They have generated a few youngsters as well. But the amount of youngsters that we have generated, plus the fact that they have been winners, like, we have won the Youth FA Cup, the Youth Leagues, for fun consecutively for years together. And like in Manchester United this year, right? As in the class of '92, we have actually built a class of our own. And you see Mason Mount, Reece James, like Mason Mount being 19th in the world technically this year. I know those words are kind of not something that you would rely on, but at least they cannot be totally off as well, right? As in, that's what I mean. Reece James, in today's day and age, if you ask me, just on form alone, he is easily among the top couple of right backs in the whole world.
Hmm.
Uh, and again, it's just not these two. Hudson Odoi, there was a reason why Bayern Munich were after him. Not once, but thrice, I believe. And Bayern Munich, we all know what kind of a club and team they have, right? As in, that's the level that we're talking about. And with so many who went out on loan, we've kind of sold with the buyback clause, Livramentos of the likes, Lamptey, who unfortunately had to kind of be in the same time as Reece James and a Livramento. So he had to move on as well. Broja, we know that he's doing very well. So a lot of youngsters have actually been mainstays even for their national teams already. And like we covered earlier as well, like we have the maximum number of national team players among all clubs, and a
Hmm.
lot of them are youngsters. Pulisic, like, trust me, like I used to live in Canada for a good while, and he's little been worshipped in North America. I know there's a little bit of hype as well, but at 21, someone who's basically like representing entire continent almost,
Yeah.
right? As in terms of football, like that is the level that we're talking about. And I know he's not from academy, so as to speak, but you're talking about academy. He was actually again one of the persons who had trialed at academy. So imagine even a player like him wasn't part of an academy. So what an academy level is at?
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And so I think Almighty Blues is agreeing to the fact that Coburn is the best academy in the world, like most of our Chelsea fans. And we've got a lot of supporting evidence as well. Guys, please put in your questions as well that you'd want to ask Almighty Blues. Of course, we'll take that up and get it answered as well. Slowly transitioning into Chelsea right now, Chelsea this season in terms of the players that we've brought in the summer transfer window. Of course, one big signing in Romelu Lukaku and Saul Niguez as well. Of course, when I think about it, there is no two ways about it. Of course, Saul Niguez is not performed well, so it doesn't make any sense for me to ask who's the best signing for you. It's going to be obviously Romelu Lukaku, though he is not on top of his game. But the question for you here is once Lukaku has come in, we've started implementing the same 3-4-3 formation that we played last year as well. And we've just tried to invert it, make a few systemic changes to enable our personnel because as and when people were trying to find the way that we're playing, we had to develop on it. And we've done some developments. But then all of this development has been minor. But we haven't seen a systemic change after Tuchel has come in. He's implemented a different system, of course, a 3-4-3. And the last game, of course, we saw a 4-2-3-1 or a 3-4-2-1, I believe, a 3-4-1-2. So I know this 3-4-1-2 has come in now. I'm not sure how long this is going to be in. And I'm not even sure if that is a combination that Tuchel is preferring, or maybe it is just because there is a lot of injury issues and he has to do it without any background on it. But do you think Lukaku is the problem in the system, or the system is not enabling, or Lukaku? I mean, the system is not enabling the striker in this formation.
Yes, and again, great questions. Like for me, like firstly, I don't believe in the fact that Lukaku has not kind of worked. Firstly speaking, it's too early. Like first and foremost, if you remember how we started the season, right? And then again, like Nick was asking, like same thing. Like I don't understand slander by some fans because I'll tell you the reason. Against Aston Villa, he was fantastic. Like just that performance alone in Aston Villa early on in the season, that showed what Lukaku has become compared to what he was a few years ago. And around the same time, it was no coincidence that around the same time, I think it was the same month that he had scored a brace for Belgium. He was fantastic for Belgium also at the Nations League. So I don't see any reason as to why this kind of slander is coming about. Yes, it's a fact, and we have to take that into account. That after his comeback from injury, like again, that injury has to be remembered as well. After he has come back from injury, firstly, has he had many games of 90 minutes? Definitely not. He's
Hmm.
probably the last game was the first game that he started, if I'm not wrong, right? So that itself tells that at the end of the day, these are all human beings. I know he was a 98 million, signing and so on and so forth, but they take some time. They are players, and their conditioning kind of also matters a lot. Yes, like with the nail on the head, it is basically the team not being able to kind of play as per Lukaku's attributes is what I would tend to be inclined towards. But still, I have not come to a conclusion on that
Hmm.
because I'll tell you one of the reasons why Tuchel has not changed the system as well. The other question that you asked, right? So in terms of the question that you asked. So for me, Tuchel has not got the time. We are literally there in every competition, and like we covered earlier as well, like every player almost is an international. So it's very rare that Tuchel has had one complete week with the entire squad for him to
Hmm.
experiment that much. So I know it's kind of surprising because at Dortmund, even earlier in his career, he actually favored the 4-3-3. That was what Tuchel's system really was. If you want to call it a system, and he's off late kind of become what he has at Chelsea, maybe because of the personnel that we have. At the
Hmm.
same time, like I said, he doesn't have enough time for them to kind of get the chemistry going at training together, is what I'm guessing. And even this particular summer, right? If you remember, there were Euros, so he didn't have the entire squad available. So
Hmm.
maybe he thought the best way forward is we won the Champions League. I don't think you got to fix that because it ain't broken. So why not continue with that? We don't anyway don't have the time to kind of experiment new things. The season started early this time compared to last year, so he went with it. And I don't know. It'll be interesting if he eventually changes the formation. In my opinion, he will. But the big question everyone has is when. And yeah, as in I see the comment from CFC again. Big up to CFC. Lukaku is a big fish in a small pond, and never wanted him. We won the Champions League. We should have broken the bank for Haaland. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I'm sure, like Vijay, when you would agree that Haaland would have made more business sense as well as footballing sense. And honestly, if I'm not wrong, even the club as well as everyone's first choice was Haaland. But it's easier as fans to kind of just react. But was Haaland really available? Like at what kind of cost? Like I know break the bank is something that we easily say, but at the end of the day, let's remember Haaland did not even move anywhere. So it's not like we lost to any other club. So Haaland this time I believe that maybe Dortmund really wanted to go for the title, and that's why they convinced Haaland. Like we don't know, like a lot of things we just speak, we go by what Fabrizio Romano says or maybe XYZ, reporter says. We go with that, but those are not conclusions. Those are just basically news that we have. It may be incomplete. We don't know the full reality. And yes, obviously, once Chelsea get Lukaku, they are going to say that, hey, Lukaku was the first choice. Come on, if Lukaku comes and if Chelsea and Tuchel go on record saying that, hey, Lukaku wasn't our first choice, probably, but yeah, he's not a bad striker. Let's have him. Imagine how
Yeah.
Lukaku is going to feel, how his camp will feel. Like, why will Inter even sell? You know?
Agree.
So that is the whole point. So, yes, Haaland would have been, but again, was he the answer? I'm still not sure. Like to be very honest, I'm not 100% convinced, but I'm convinced that he was better than Lukaku in terms of what package he brought. But definitely, we are not 100% sure. Like I would have actually, unlike popular opinion, I would have taken a Lewandowski. A lot of people I
Okay.
know, Chelsea fans included, said no to Lewandowski. I was saying that break the bank for Lewandowski, whatever be his age, because I can see him performing for a couple more years.
Hmm.
But again, opinions.
Differ, definitely. As we talk about Lukaku, we've got Bex in the channel, Nick Blue as well, CFC. A lot of folks have joined the channel today for watching this particular live stream along with Almighty Blues. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you've not clicked on that subscribe button, please click on that subscribe button and click on that bell notification so that you know whenever we go live. We consistently go live around this particular time, 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock IST, and probably 6 o'clock or 5:30 in the UK time. So I'd say just go ahead and subscribe, guys. There's a lot of content that is coming in as well. I think we've completed our 60th video or something in the channel. So the channel is fast growing, of course, and there's a lot of subscriber base as well. And we are bringing in people into the channel. There's a big six show as well that started last week with Scott from Australia joining us live for the Arsenal show. So there's a lot of things that is happening around. And thank you for, first of all, coming in the live and, asking your questions. Of course, each and every single question will be taken into account and we will be getting the answers for those. Nick Blue, a beautiful question at the start about Lukaku slandering. And then we had CFC as well talking about Lukaku. And this is Rebecca saying that it's difficult one to answer. On the other hand, we are playing this with the same system that has made us so difficult to beat. But on the other, if you buy 100 million striker, you have to play to his strengths. This is exactly what I was getting at. You cannot buy a 97, 98 or 100 million striker and then keep him on the bench. That's the same pressure as that of having a Ronaldo in your team and changing the entire system to suit him. So is that something that is a bit concerning for Lukaku, for Tuchel going forward? Because we all saw how 3-4-3 was efficient with a false nine in our system the previous year, of course, winning us the Champions League. But then when Lukaku came in, we seemed okay. I'm not saying we looked bad. We seemed okay, but not as efficient as that of a 3-4-3 with a false nine. And we know our attackers normally are not clinical. That's the problem that we had last year, and that is exactly the reason why we wanted a striker. But even after Lukaku came in, the problem seemed to have persisted. And once Lukaku went away due to an injury and we had brought in Havertz, that particular few games, actually Chelsea looked better. So people are going back on the opinion, maybe Lukaku is the problem in the system. Maybe this system isn't for Lukaku. So if at all we want to play with Lukaku, we might have to go for a different system. These are the thoughts that are coming in Chelsea's minds and Chelsea fans' minds. And I wouldn't say they're wrong, but I'm not sure what thought process Tuchel is of right now. And that is why I wanted to post you this question, if the formation is the problem or Lukaku is the problem. But one thing that we have to remember, guys, Lukaku has not played with full fitness until now. He's not even featured a 90-minute game for Chelsea after recovering from the injury. Before that, he used to feature in every single game for the entirety of 90 minutes. And that's what you get from Lukaku. If he's fit, you get 90 minutes out of Lukaku. And if you're not getting 90 minutes with Lukaku, then it means that he's still not recovered. So let's give him some time to recover. And I'm sure over a period of time, Lukaku will understand the system and start playing in the system better, or the system in itself will start revolving around Lukaku, which will enable him to score goals. Don't worry too much about Lukaku, guys. But on the other hand as well, definitely a lot of Haaland conversation as well going on. Not wrong, but unnecessary pressure from externally on Lukaku as well. Dortmund didn't want to sell Sancho and Haaland in one window. Of course, that was one of the reasons as well. CFC also says Morata, Higuain, Werner, now Lukaku. The last good centre forward we had was Diego Costa. That's why I said getting Haaland should have been top priority. I'm not sure even getting Haaland will just give you or guarantee you that he's going to be the same way as that of what Diego Costa operated or Drogba operated. We've seen a lot of players coming in and failing in this club as the centre forward. The best example is Fernando Torres, simply superb striker for Liverpool, came to Chelsea, didn't know where the goalpost was most of the time. I don't blame him, but Chelsea has that effect on number nines. I don't agree with the popular opinion that we should have waited until next summer to sign Haaland. If a manager walks into the club and wins the UCL in 4 months, you have to back him in the window. Absolutely right. And that probably is my next question for you, Almighty Blues. After winning the UCL, do you think Chelsea has really backed Tuchel? I know we got one good signing in Lukaku, but does that mean Chelsea has really backed the manager? I mean, if it was Manchester City who won the Premier League, this would have been a different scenario altogether. They would have had the Haalands of the world, Grealish already, Harry Kanes, and everyone's of the world, because they know they're the top team and they want to improve further as well. Are Chelsea lagging a bit of ambition in terms of the boardroom? I'm asking. We've won the UCL. Is it like, okay, we won it, it's done? Because we've seen that happen with Chelsea in the 2012 season as well. Okay, we won the UCL. We're going to take some rest now, right? We're going to sit back and enjoy. Now, that shouldn't happen from a board's perspective. So do you think that kind of happened in this particular window as well?
See, again, like I don't want to be sitting on the fence, but we really don't know the inside stories. I know a lot of it doesn't come out in the media. Like, what I would rather say is, I think Tuchel was backed. Simply put, Tuchel was backed. Like, you don't spend 97, 98 million on a player, and especially when our record was nowhere near. Remember, like, we actually broke a record by 25 million itself, right? So that is basically the definition of just backing the manager, especially that player is someone that you sold at what, 20 odd billion, right? As an 18 million, if I'm not wrong, right? So that kind of proves the point that you're bringing back a player after a few years and you have no qualms about basically going for him because he is the proven striker right now and Tuchel wants him. And that is something that probably was missed under Conte, and that was one of the reasons why Conte eventually left as well. We all know that. In a way that disagreements had begun, and with the players he wasn't happy. With Tuchel, that is not the case. Yes, what I would rather say is the timing of it. Again, a lot of agents come into picture. A lot of what happens in the backdrop comes into picture, which we really don't know the nitty-gritties of. The timing of it, like if Lukaku was probably signed maybe much before the Euros itself, again, Inter Milan may have said no. Probably did say no as well. And maybe we had our eyes on Haaland, and we took time to kind of wait and see what happens. But maybe that would have put a better picture to Thomas Tuchel early on, and he would have been much better prepared for that short preseason that we had. And maybe Lukaku could have been a better fit. I know he started the season well. I'm again repeating, Lukaku started the season well with us. I don't think he had a bad start. But it's about him maybe experimenting a little bit more with Lukaku. And going back to the Lukaku, the formations that we're talking about, right? I actually don't see Lukaku as a misfit at all. It comes down to the player, honestly speaking, because if Lukaku can perform so well against Aston Villa, why can't he perform well against Zenit? I'm just saying. I know he didn't perform badly either. His performance was slightly better than the recent weeks, but not
He
up to the
started
mark
well
yet.
against Arsenal as well. So
Exactly.
not
So
not too much to
no,
judge with respect to
no, but
Lukaku,
sorry,
but
Vijay, my point actually was coming to the Belgium side. So
hmm,
Lukaku, if you're talking about Belgium and if you're talking about Inter Milan, has not played with a too dissimilar kind of setup. Like the setups that Belgium and Inter Milan play are not too dissimilar. And again, these are international players of the highest quality. A slight tweak is something that they should be easily be able to adapt. So I don't see the issue is Lukaku fitting in. It's about just that they've not had as much time together, especially when things are not as busy. Sorry to cut you there, but I just wanted to complete that point.
not a problem. Nick Blue says Lukaku is not getting any service from our attack. We need them to find him more. Agreed to that. CFC also says that it would have shivered, it would have created a shiver in the other clubs. But I also think, mate, to be honest with you, CFC, signing Lukaku also did that to them. I'd be honest with you. Signing Lukaku as well did the same. It's just that he's not been performing up to our expectations, but it did the same as well. Haaland would have been a great signing, but he wasn't attainable. Tuchel doesn't have the time of a Pep or a Klopp he has now, so you get him the next best option so he can compete, and that was Lukaku. This tracks back to the old conversation that we were actually having about the Chelsea's managers not having the kind of time that you would get in a Liverpool setup or Manchester United setup or City as well, right? But Chelsea thrives under pressure.
Yeah.
Chelsea managers know how to thrive under pressure. And that's why we've been successful as a club for a long time. We might have not had an Arsene Wenger in our team or a Sir Alex Ferguson, of course, but then we've still managed to get trophies, and that's what end of the day speaks. So I think if Tuchel can survive under pressure, he's going to stay in this job for a long time. I believe that's very harsh on TT. He won us the Champions League in less than 6 months. That man should have been given a blank check. Every player has a price, of course, but then Matteo as well won the Champions League for us. So, you know what? It doesn't really say a lot. Like, again, one thing with respect to Champions League CFC is that it's a run of games. It's not like Premier League where consistency is the factor. Champions League is also something. It's got to do with the luck. It's got to do with the timing. It's got to do with your injury concerns and everything. So, in that way, I think we won the tournament. Nothing to take away from that. But let's not be so much judgy just because we won the Champions League.
And 100 million, Vijay, 100 million is huge. Like, honestly, I agree with CFC. Definitely. And then he has a point. Like, what Tuchel should have been given is probably, an exceptional case in itself. And that exception was made. 100 million is no small amount.
Yeah. And if we keep talking about Lukaku, of course, this conversation is going to be never ending. And we've had a lot of comments as well from Nick Blue, Rebecca, CFC, talking about Lukaku, Madrid, PSG, Bayern Munich, Manchester City. Oh my God, where you guys have gone? Arsenal, Spurs don't count. I know Arsenal, Spurs don't count when it comes to Bayern, Madrid, and PSG, Man City. But then so many teams in there on the comment section. Keep continuing to chat there as well. But let's quickly go away from Lukaku right now and talk about our midfield issue. We were talked about when we started the Premier League as the team with the best squad depth. And what's gone with the squad depth? We're looking at academy options now. We're looking at recalling loan players now. What's happening to our Chelsea squad? What do you think could have triggered this injury woes?
Like, I think we kind of touched upon right earlier. It was more about the internationals and them kind of not coming back fit. Yes, there was obviously a debate in the Chelsea community on Twitter, especially in the summer, about N'Golo Conte and Jorginho. Obviously, once we won that Champions League, things kind of cooled down, and we kind of accepted that okay, these are really really good players, and we don't kind of get rid of them easily. In a way, you can say that that loan of Billy Gilmore has kind of backfired in a way, because neither has he performed greatly for Norwich. He's not been getting the chances under, obviously, as in the earlier manager. Farke did not fancy him, but I think Dean Smith does fancy him. But now we probably need him. Like you said, we might we might just call him back. I don't know. Even that Saul signing, like, I can understand being reactionary. You can say that Saul has not worked, but again, it comes down to basically how busy our season has been. Saul, unfortunately, has hasn't it's the first time that he's coming out of his country, so it's the first abroad kind of opportunity for him, and it's not easy. There's a lot of things going on in the backdrop, and I know we, as Chelsea, we should have the standards, that expectation, but he's not had a run of games at all, which he won't have either. So maybe keeping Billy Gilmore would have been smarter. But again, we know Billy Gilmore's dad has gone on record saying that he actually wanted Billy Gilmore to play more. So maybe the press was that, Billy, you please go on loan. Chelsea, please let him go on loan. Like, we don't know what the reality is. And we didn't anticipate so many injuries. Like, we didn't have so many injuries at once altogether in the recent past. So otherwise, we would have rather played Chalobah in midfield from the beginning of season. If we knew that basically we would get so many injuries, he would have been much more ready. And now even he's injured.
Yeah, of course. So this is what we're going to have, guys. The next 15 minutes, the next 5 minutes are going to be, out of the next 15 minutes, the first 5 minutes are going to be talking about the lineup, the Leeds lineup, of course. And then we'll open the stream and you guys can come in and question whatever you want or talk whatever you want with Almighty Blues. Keep it professional, but then also make sure that you want to, whatever questions that you want to ask Almighty Blues, the floor is yours then. I'm going to just quickly present my screen and we'll have our lineup as well probably ready. But any news about the injury issues that we currently have, Almighty Blues, that you might have known of? I think I know as well, but I'm going to pull up the...
it's the same thing. I think as per Tuchel's presser, there were 4 people who were expected to be out for sure. Chilwell is a long-term injury. Chalobah is not yet ready. Obviously, the hamstring injury that he has. N'Golo Conte unfortunately has not yet recovered. That is the big question when he'll come back. And Kovacic is the COVID hasn't tested positive, so obviously it'll take another 10 days. I'm assuming it's been around 5 days if I'm not wrong that we got the news last time. So yeah, I think these four are definitely out. And there are reports saying that Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho are not 100%. As per, obviously, Jorginho was rested for Europe, and Loftus-Cheek apparently had some kind of a discomfort. But as per Tuchel's presser, they should be fit.
All right, all right. So now let's quickly get on to the lineup. Do you think we'll be first of all playing with a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-1-2?
Yeah. So, if you ask me, what we should do is we should play like a 3-5-2. What we played against Spurs in the second half. I know it didn't work in the as in the next match. We all remember that. We don't want to kind of go and get into details, but I actually would play like five, in midfield. The reason I'll tell you why, because of the fact that we have like maybe niggling injuries or players who don't kind of play there all the time. So
Mhm.
we need some extra protection. So that extra man would be that needed. And up front, one of the problems that was solved in the last game, despite that terrible draw against Zenit, was the fact that Werner actually looked good.
Mhm.
He didn't look, kind of someone who just scored as a fluke. That first goal, I know it was easy, but he actually created as well. So he was actually working quite well with Lukaku. Lukaku was the one who looked off pace, really speaking,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So for me,
Honestly, yeah.
Werner, Lukaku, maybe it's a partnership that we should persist at least for the timing
All
and until
right.
people come back.
All right, there you go. Werner and Lukaku for Almighty Blues FC here. He wants to see the strike partnership of Werner and Lukaku up top. And do you have anyone in mind for Cam? Of course, I'd prefer Gallagher if he was here.
No, I think Mason Mount. Come on, Mason Mount's got. I know Ziyech has and he deserves a shout out because he is kind of looked much better in recent weeks. But Mason Mount, I think, has looked far better compared to anyone actually. Like glad that at least he's back fully fit. Again,
All
touch wood.
right. Makes sense. Makes sense. ZH as well is a good option. Probably we might see him in the second half, but at this point in time, with this current formation that Almighty Blues FC has gone, dude, you cannot get ZH anywhere in this formation. So I'm going to let it slide. And the double pivot, what do you think about the double pivot? Who do you think will play in the double pivot?
I don't think we have an option other than Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek. Again, assuming that they would be fit to start, is what
Hmm.
I'm again crossing my fingers for. But Barkley and Reece James did not look like a midfielder, kind of partnership at all.
Agreed. Agreed. No contentions there. If I'm to be honest, if these guys are fit, they are going to be featuring. That's how I put it. I think this will be more of an attacking four here than a wing back sort of a thing. So, do you think Alonso will play in this game on the left wing back, or do you think Sol Niguez will again feature?
Uh, as in against Leeds, I would like to play our first choice, which is currently Alonso. Leeds, especially, like I know, honestly speaking, it's about picking the players that we have. I know again, a lot of slack for Alonso, but
Hmm.
the guy actually has experience of playing there much more and has been good for us over the years. So let's trust him and go with him if he's fit. Simply put.
All right. And the right wing back, do we have to have even
Come
ask
on.
you?
No, no, come on, Reece James. I
I'm not
just
going to
called
do
it
that.
one of the top two right backs in the world for me right now.
Of course, of course. Reece James, tough fight with Trent Alexander Arnold. We definitely will be carrying that debate as well on quickly going, probably in one of the streams upcoming in this week. So Reece James starts on right wing back and the back three. Who do you think will be the back three for Chelsea this particular game?
Yeah, again, it's a case of about who's fit. To be very honest about it, but I think one point that I did make on my stream as well yesterday. So that was about Aspilicueta. So a lot of us Chelsea fans, and again fans in general, take read too much into the age. For me, it's not about the age. I know there comes an age when you cannot be as fit as what you were, but Aspi was never a player who kind of depended on his pace as much. Like I know he was quicker than what he is right now, but also he was a player. He's always been a player who plays week in week out. If you get Aspi suddenly, say in between a month, he's not that kind of player who set fire. You know what I mean? So for me, Aspi needs to be continued. I know he didn't have a great game against Zenit, but I think he needs to be continued at right centre back, and of course, that leadership, considering our situation currently, is required. So
Hmm.
Aspi, And in centre back, I'd have to drop Christensen. As much as I love him, being coming from the academy in a sense, it will be Thiago Silva. I think Thiago Silva brings a sense of calmness to the back line that no one else brings. So I think
Yeah.
that's required. Christensen made mistakes. We have to point it out against West Ham, against Zenit. He made mistakes. He didn't close down the attackers enough for me.
All
And
right.
Rudiger, like he has to come in.
Of course, Rudiger, as Nick Blue always says, a team without Rudiger is a team that I'm not going to watch probably. So Mendy or
Kepa,
Aspi.
wow.
Oh,
As in
Kepa, sorry.
Kepa, as in, yeah, we don't ask in goal, but yeah, then definitely it's got to be it's got to be Mendy, man. I know
All right.
Kepa had a great performance. He actually kept us in the game in midweek, but Mendy, we need to get his confidence back. So play him.
All right. So there you go. That's the lineup for the Chelsea game against Leeds. Mendy starts on goal. Rudiger on the left centre back. Silva at the centre back. Aspilicueta as the right centre back. Reece James on the right wing back. Alonso on the left wing back. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho in the double pivot with a cam role being played by Mason Mount, Werner, and Lukaku up top as the strikers. Hopefully, this is the formation that we get to see in the game, but there, of course, will be a lot of contention. I'm already seeing it on the comment section. There are a lot of people with different formation that they want to like to see in this game. But before that, I just wanted to quickly acknowledge Herbert A as well, a Manchester United fan. Can Chelsea take McTominay off us and make him a ball boy? He can bring back the balls off Werner's shooting and Lukaku's first touch. We will throw in Johnny too. He can make a good cup of tea. All right, a bit of fun and banter there from the Manchester United fans. Hey guys, Lukaku again. Of course, Lukaku again here. Nizion as well from Blue Class TV. Try checking him out. He is from the USA and provides a lot of good content day in and day out, guys. So that's Nizion for you. Let's see what Beck says. In the event that RLC isn't fit to start, we might see Mount in the pivot and another attacker in the cam.
Great
What
point.
are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, then again, it's about us having options or not. So I would actually prefer that compared to Saul. Again, it's unfair on Saul, but I would actually, yeah, in the event, obviously, that if RLC or maybe Jorginho, one of them are not kind of fit, again, touch wood that they are fit going by the presser. So yes, Mount in the pivot won't be too bad. I know not ideal, but again, Ziyech right in front of him, they can probably interchange positions in between the game, quite possible. But I would rather have them compared to Saul in central midfield for Leeds because trust me, the Leeds game has always been someone that the crowd is up for it. So
Hmm.
whether it's at Stamford Bridge or at Ellen Road, we really need to be up for it. And of course, we are fighting for the title, hopefully still, which we really we should believe in, and we need the 3 points. So I think I'd rather have the attacking kind of a central midfielder and have Mount in there if in case one of them is unfit.
All right. An interesting fact as well, one of the polls that I posted on the Twitter says Lukaku should start. 57% people want Lukaku to start this game, while Havertz, 43% would want Havertz to start this game. I guess slightly Lukaku has the edge right now, and I wouldn't really mind any of them starting if I'm to be honest, because both of them have been a bit underperforming. And if any of them starts banging in goal, I'm fine with it. And guys, with that, we also come towards the open stream section of this particular segment, or the stream rather. I'm going to put the links on the chat window. Just hop in and have your say. Definitely, everyone is welcome, and you can talk to Almighty Blues, ask all about all the questions that you can possibly ask. And he's come up with a lineup, and you can question him on the lineups as well if you think whatever he selected is not something that you would agree on. So, Bex, it would be great to get you on the stream here. I'm not sure if you're available right now, but yeah, anyone who wants to join in the stream, guys, the stream link is on the chat window. Of course, we are going live in multiple platforms, YouTube and Twitch as well. Nick Blue, hop in and ask your questions as well. Nick Blue as well says Leeds always have been one of our biggest rivals. Thoughts on that? Of course, there's a lot of trivia when you talk to Almighty Blues. First of all, guys, I mean, he loves asking these trivia questions. You can get a lot of stats. He's like, if I were to start a channel on my own, if I had Almighty Blues next to me, he would be my statman, right? So that's Almighty Blues for you. So talk to us about Leeds and Chelsea rivalry. Of course, you know better than me
Yeah,
in
it's
that
crazy,
terms.
man. And again, like I know that around the time I started following football, like going back, to what we discussed at the beginning of the stream. So between what 2000, 2004, especially the 2002 to 2004 season, as in, trust me, Leeds were still there, thereabouts. So they were actually right in our face. And in fact, the crowd, and even like going back in the day, like even reading those stories and watching those pictures, I think Nick is here. Nick, big up to you. But yes, he'd agree that there have been a lot of cases of basically, things happening in the crowd that possibly, we should be even talking about. Like, that's how bad the scenes have been between
Mm.
Leeds and Chelsea. It's always like banter plus it's actually serious stuff going on, right? As in, so that's
Yeah.
something that we would want to kind of get one over them for sure and not get one, done.
I think this is a good question to start off with as well for to Nick Blue, definitely, because Nick is someone who's in the UK right now, and he's I guess he is experienced enough to know about this rivalry. First of all, one thing that I, from an external environment, an external perspective, understand about Leeds is that they are a team where the entire city supports one team, which doesn't happen with a club like Chelsea or Arsenal, because this is a London club and the crowd is actually shared in terms of support. So could that be a factor where Leeds fans are being more passionate in this support? And this is a question for Nick Blue. Could you just talk us through about this rivalry?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me? Hello,
Ye-
chaps.
Loud and clear, Nick.
Yeah, you can hear me. Yeah, yeah. Big up, chaps. Good channel. Good comments. Yeah, yeah. It's a very big rivalry going back to the 1970 FA Cup final, our first FA Cup final, and the first trophy we actually won. See, 90. That's when we won the league in 1955. But since 1955, we had to wait for 1970 to actually win a trophy. Leeds, it's a big, big rival. In those days, it was bigger than Tottenham. Leeds was the main rival. We had Leeds coming to Chelsea, fans fighting on the pitch. There's a lot of banter, even now, for Leeds, it's always big. Chelsea is really big for them because they don't have really any bigger rival than us. And yeah, what else I can say? Yeah, I remember those days when and that fight. I don't know if you watched that, but if you watch that final, but go back and watch it, and you see what it meant for the players, for both
Absolutely,
teams.
absolutely. This is something that I get from Nick Blue specifically, because going beyond 2000, I might not be able to recollect a lot of memories about Chelsea because I was just 4 years old then. So, but
But
then
you,
Nick Blue, who's been with Chelsea with Chelsea, and he's been seeing Chelsea for a long time now, has
oh
got that
yes, that's
experience, has got that ability to put forth those matches at 1970s, 60s, how the crowd used to be, how the environment used to be, how the people and the rivalry used to be. That's where you get these points from someone like Nick Blue. Of course, the experience talks definitely when it comes to Nick Blue. So with that, I'm probably going to stop asking questions and let Nick Blue ask his queries to Almighty Blues. Nick, floor is yours.
yeah. Yeah, I'll see the
Right.
lineup. But your lineup is pretty good. That's very good. I think that's what I was thinking. Nearly exactly the same. I think for tomorrow. I think it has to be Mendy, Aspie, Thiago Silva, and Rudiger. We have to have our main back, the main men, the experienced men. Jorginho, I think, is back. Should be Jorginho Loftus-Cheek tomorrow in the middle. And it looks like Alonso has to play, and let's hope that has a good game. And Reece James is fit. And the front, we'll see. I'm not sure what he's going to go for, Havertz or Lukaku. If it could go either way, I think if Lukaku starts, Havertz might come on, or probably the other way around. Havertz might start and Lukaku might come on, seeing how the game goes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got Bex as well joining us. This is the first time I actually have Bex on the channel. I'm not even sure if she's joined the GNATV before, but welcome to the channel, Bex. Talk to us about the game. Talk to us about how you're feeling coming to the channel for the first time.
Hi, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me properly. I think my internet is
Loud
really
and clear.
horrible.
Loud and clear. All good.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, hi guys. I wish I could have my camera on, but I don't have my laptop back until next week. But yeah, thanks for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here, and I love to get to be a part of these spaces and communities where we get to just discuss what we all enjoy and love, which is the beautiful game and of course Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, regarding the game tomorrow, I think we definitely should be expecting a response, not just in terms of results, performance as well. So we'll likely see a lot of our first team starters back. I think, yeah, the team that we had set up earlier, experience in the back line with Thiago Silva and Rudiger coming back in. Jorginho playing through his pain, but he provides that control and that experience and just that possession. And yeah, the forward line is a bit difficult to predict. A fully fit forward line for the first time in so long, I think irrespective of who gets put out there.
Yeah. Bex seems to be a bit cutting in and out there, Bex.
I have a quick question for you all. Like anyone in the panel, right? As in maybe Vijay, Bex, or Nick, right? So, as in, there's a lot of debate going on Chelsea Twitter and Chelsea community generally about Hudson-Odoi, right? As in Hudson-Odoi, like again, if people kind of follow me, I'm of the opinion that I know he's obviously best at left attacking midfielder or left winger kind of position, which is natural to him, what he's played most of his career. But the fact that Tuchel wants to use him as a wing back, and the moment he switches to wing back, I don't know, something happens to him. He stops kind of taking on
Yeah.
players as much. Maybe defending is back of his mind. I don't know what kind of doesn't make him click, because I think what Hakimi can do on paper, Hudson-Odoi should be able to do with the ability, right? As in, what's kind of missing in your opinion?
Should I start? Yeah, I think Hudson-Odoi, he can't play left wing back. If he does, he doesn't have a good game. He's a left winger. He always plays better on the wing. That's his position. And the other day he was on the right wing. That didn't suit him either. How many times he's played there, he hasn't had a good game. So if left wing, he has a better game. Much better, yeah. I think, even there, I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing tomorrow
Exactly,
in his
because
right position,
yeah,
I think one thing
when-
with respect to Cho is that he has to start passing the ball a bit more earlier. He has to release the ball in the from the wing. What I kind of am disappointed with respect to Cho's performance is that he doesn't release the ball quicker. And if
Yeah.
he starts to release the ball quicker, trust me, he's one of the best wingers that you could possibly imagine in the Chelsea setup. One thing that he's missing right now is that he's not releasing the ball quicker. He's beating a one man then, and he all of a sudden has a brain fade. He doesn't know what to do now. Like he gets to a position, then there's no options. Just bang on, just shoot, because he doesn't know what to do next. And
Yeah.
he's so good beating that one man. After that, he doesn't know basically what to do, and that's where the confusion comes into picture. So maybe that aspect of the game is something that he might have to improve on. And once that is done,
Yeah,
then
exactly.
Thank you.
Like I said last time, Vijay, he has to look up, gets in that position right near the box or in the box, but he doesn't look up and see where the player, Werner or Lukaku is or whoever is there. If he looks up a bit more, it could be lethal, very lethal.
Agreed.
Yeah, sometimes it's the chemistry also, right, Vijay and Nick? Because I think we saw early on in part of last season part, he had some kind of chemistry going with Havertz. Like he had those 1-2s going on. Him and Havertz have that chemistry, like compared to basically say maybe a Ziyech or maybe a Lukaku. Like he's maybe not got that level of chemistry. So it's about that as well. But yeah, then I certainly buy your point. But that I think gets me down to the next one, because Pulisic is another case, right? Because Tuchel, for some reason, is insisting on playing Pulisic as either a right winger or a right wing back. Like, that's something that for me, Pulisic, again, maybe because I've lived a lot in Canada, I've kind of followed Pulisic very closely over the years,
Yeah,
because of the fact that he's, huge there. Like, so the guy is a natural kind of, player who from the left, if he cuts in, he's lethal. We saw in the lockdown period, right? That's something that maybe hopefully we'll get the best of it. But
yeah.
maybe him and
I like Pulisic a lot. I like him. When he's on form, he has too much. He gets too many injuries, but when he's on form, he's special. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him tomorrow either. But I would love to see him actually. But I think he'd be a sub and coming on as a sub.
I think you're on mute, buddy.
Am I?
No,
Oh,
you
sorry
hear me?
about that. I was on mute. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Nick, you are good.
Yeah,
You're good. I was on mute. I was on mute. No worries. Nick, you're all loud and clear. No problem. So what I was trying to say is that that's pretty much Nick covered, Pulisic's game pretty nicely. So I would probably go ahead and talk about another question that keeps pestering my mind right now. You guys have all selected Alonso for the Leeds game. I know you're going by experience here, but Leeds, like how Bex mentioned, is a high pressing team, and the intensity of the game in itself is too high. So, what is that made you think that Alonso is the natural choice for this game? Is it because we don't even have another option, or is that because Saul Niguez is playing so poorly that you'd even choose Alonso better?
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Vijay. Are you talking about the Leeds pressing?
Yeah, Leeds pressing and Alonso's choice for this particular game. Why
Yeah,
Alonso?
but the
If he is the
problem
slowest
is,
player on the pitch and
yeah,
Leeds is the
but
high
who
pressing
else?
team.
We don't have anyone else with a bit of experience. We have Alonso on his day. He can be very good as well. But who are we going to put? Saul left wing back? I don't think so. I think he will go with Alonso this tomorrow.
Okay. Almighty Blues, any thoughts there?
Yeah,
Do
you know
you
what?
not want to see? Do you not want to see Saul
Big
Niguez
up
being given another
Crouch.
chance? Coach, big
Yeah.
up. Thanks for joining as well. If you want to hop in as well, the link is open. We've just opened it like 5 minutes back. So if you want to hop in and have your say, Coach, the channel is open for you.
For
Almighty
sure,
Blues, back to you.
Big up Dennis, but yes, definitely. Like again, like I might be thinking left field, but not against Leeds, but maybe say against a team which kind of has a low block, who does not kind of come up the ranks. And those kind of teams, I think I'll actually want to experiment Hudson-Odoi during this period. I know it's he kind of is not a left wing back like Nick said, but why not try him, and if he wants to kind of really want to play that position as well, it's up to both of them, Tuchel and him. But for Leeds, like I agree with Nick, going with Alonso makes sense, because like you said as well, like they do press as well, and I think even in attack, right? Alonso is actually underrated. Honestly, he's not as bad as what people make him out to be. He's actually quite good at times, and even Watford.
Yeah. And
Watford game, like
the other good thing about Leeds, they can't defend. So
exactly.
if we don't win tomorrow, I'll be really surprised and I'll be gutted. If we don't win tomorrow, we're not winning anything this year.
Well, statement there from Nick Blue, of course. One person that we probably have to watch out for in their defense is Luke Ayling, of course, one of the senior most defender with Leeds for
Yes.
now. So he definitely will be a point of concern for Chelsea Football Club.
But I'm sure we have the power, the back power to keep him quiet.
We've got a lot of folks watching this particular stream, so just go ahead and press that like button, guys. Definitely helps us to reach a lot more people and widen the community. So please press that like button and help the channel grow, of course. Thank you so much for everyone on the comment section as well, keeping the comments interactive, and a lot of comments today as well. Blue Clouds, Nick Blue, Rebecca, Couch Critic, CFC, Almighty Blues as well, and it's been a very good stream. But let's quickly start winding up the stream as well. It's because we've come towards the end of that 15 minutes mark. Herbert as well, a Manchester United fan, joined the stream. So big up to everyone who joined the stream. Any closing thoughts, Almighty Blues, before we wind up?
Yeah, so as in one aspect that we did not talk about much is the Leeds personnel that is available. So I know that we've been dealing with a lot of injuries. Trust me, Leeds have been dealing with a lot of injuries as well. Like they have obviously their main man, Calvin Phillips, out. Bamford, I don't think is fit enough to start. I heard that he also felt his hamstring towards the end of the game. He scored, I
Good
know,
thing.
that goal. So
Good thing for Chelsea, but of course for not for
yeah,
Bamford. Yeah.
Cooper also is not 100%. They might feature. I'm not saying that they won't feature, but what I'm trying to say, like just like we have Jorginho, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but they have a couple of players who are not 100%, and of course with Calvin Phillips missing. So I think, like Nick put it, right, as if we don't win this game, even if they're not had injuries, I would have expected us to win, especially at home, and we did that last season. If you remember the 3-1 victory, as in come from behind, technically speaking. But if we don't win this, despite as in the things that we discussed and the injuries that they have, I think this would be kind of telling that hey, the December disease has come back to Chelsea that in recent seasons that's been, but hopefully not. And I really hope that we could kind of get the monkey off our back quickly. We don't want to kind of wait till the second half late, because in recent matches that's not kind of helped us a lot.
Yeah,
Exactly.
agreed.
Again, thanks for having me.
Nick Blue, closing thoughts from your end?
Yeah, it's like sorry, what? I didn't get your name again. Your
It's Ankit, buddy. Ankit.
Hangers. Yeah, Hanger. Yeah, like you were saying, we beat them last year. We were losing one, and we come back and win, beat them 3-1. That's the sort of performance we need tomorrow. And I was going to say, I just hope we win. Really, I'll be at the match tomorrow. So if Vijay is on doing his preview, watch along. I'll be sending you some pictures.
Definitely. I wanted to actually talk about that as well. Yeah, go on, Nick Blue, but go on. Close it up.
Yeah, that's mainly I agree with Hacker there. I agree everything you say really. It's a must win game, and we can't afford to lose this game. We're finished with the league. So it's going to be a really big game for us.
Definitely. In the context of this particular form for Chelsea, of course, this game does a lot. So we need to get this game going. So, guys, before we leave, quickly score predictions in the comment section as well as Ankit and Nick. Go on with the score predictions. Ankit, start. Nick, go on.
2-0.
2-0 for Chelsea. Goal scorers?
Rudiger and Harvard. Rudiger
there you
and
go,
Havertz.
A Rudiger fan. Rudiger, probably we can see that one complete run and then scoring a goal. If at all that is going to happen in the Leeds game, let's wait and see. Rudiger and
Havertz tomorrow.
Because probably Nick is going to be on the stand there. Yeah. Maybe Nick gets to see that live. Okay. He's going to be pushing Rudiger to do that. So hopefully that happens. Blue Clouds TV says as well 3-0 towards Chelsea. Ankit, what is your prediction?
Yeah, I actually, kind of going for a very close game. For me, we'll kind of nick a win, but just about honestly, I can see a super sub scoring that winner, and it's not happened since a while. We need that as well, just for the morale of the team. But yeah, definitely a win is required. I think 2-1 with Lukaku actually getting a goal and Werner assist at that. I'll be very specific, and coming on would be Pulisic, who would be scoring for me.
All right, he's trying to repeat the same thing that happened in the previous Champions League game, a Lukaku goal of a Werner assist, and what was the second one?
Pulisic this time
a
gets
Pulisic goal. A Pulisic goal, probably he sprinting into the goalpost and getting another goal for Chelsea Football Club. A 2-0 prediction for
2-1. I think we'll concede. I think we should
2-1
concede
prediction.
because of the game being so rusty. And then for me, definitely people coming back from injury. I see us conceding, going by the recent form, but hopefully I'm wrong. Let's put it that way.
Okay. And would you say Rafinha scores for them? I don't see anyone else
As in,
doing
yeah,
that. But
there are no questions. I think he scored
I
what
think
40% of
with
goals.
Rudiger and Thiago at the back and Nasby, we're gonna have a clean sheet. Back to the clean sheets. What we should be getting every single game.
you know what? As much as I would want to be optimistic in this game, I'm still going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Oh God!
I'm going to go for a
Yeah.
1-1 draw, a Timo Werner goal for Chelsea, and probably a Rafinha equalizer. And I think this game is going to be a draw. But hopefully, what I'm saying this time doesn't happen, and Chelsea pick up a 3-pointer here in this Premier League fixture. With that, we are coming towards the end of stream. First of all, thank you so much, Almighty Blues, for staying in the stream, for coming into the stream. He's talked a lot about his channel, his passion for Chelsea, and also about Chelsea this particular season, the way that they performed, about Lukaku. A lot of content in this stream, guys. If you want to go back and watch the stream, I think this will be a definitely informative session as well. So if you've not watched the entire stream and if you'd like to do it, I highly encourage you to do that. So thank you, Almighty Blues, for staying here for the last 1 hour and 15 minutes in the stream and spending your time with us. Nick Blue, as well, as usual, hopping in and getting the questions that he wants to get it answered by Ankit, as well as providing his valuable input to the stream. So thank you, Nick Blue, as well, for joining the stream. Guys, do not forget, tomorrow when we go for the commentary of the game, definitely, you know that is the difference between the other channels, right? I commentate on the game. I do not do a watch along. So during the commentary of the game, there is a good possibility that we might have Nick Blue coming in live from the Stamford Bridge and showing us some pictures of our own Stamford Bridge in the UK. So that's going to be exciting. The first time that we're going to get it done as well.
Yeah, for sure,
Sportzwire channel.
DJ. Yeah, for sure. As long as I think usually the internet is good there, so it should be okay.
Yeah. All right. So as long as the internet supports, we might have Nick Blue coming in. We will have Nick Blue coming in and supporting this channel and also providing live coverage of the game, Stamford Bridge. From which channel exactly, to be precise, Nick Blue? Which channel are you going to watch this game from? Matthew Harding.
Yeah, I don't know where you're watching it from.
No, I'm asking which channel are you going to be watching it from? Matthew Harding?
Oh yeah, I'm in the Matthew Harding outlet here.
All right, perfect. The Matthew Harding stand from, so Nick Blue is going to be watching this game and coming to us live from the Stamford Bridge, from the Matthew Harding Stadium, to be specific. Hopefully, you guys tune in tomorrow to watch the live stream of the game. Of course, the watch along, and you can, if you guys cannot, if you guys are busy with something and you're not able to watch the game, then of course you can tune into the channel. I'll be providing a commentary on the game as well. Hopefully, everything goes good and Chelsea picks up a 3-point. With that, we are coming towards the end of the stream, and this is time to say goodbye. See you next time. This is VJ signing off.
Come on, you Blues.
Up the Chelsea. Come on, you Blues.
See you, chaps. Good stream.